according to you, what are the most common types of fears you have seen and observed in the workplace today? By the way, if I remember correctly, you have interviewed like a couple of hundred people for making your book. Tell me more about these experiences.
Yes, Paul. Well, yes, fear is actually something that everyone experiences, but it's as you say, that's a little bit taboo. People, don't like to talk about it because, of course, it shows like some vulnerability, some weaknesses, etc. So people tend, at least that was my first assumption. I thought that people would not be willing to talk about it. And when I tried to interview, when I interviewed I think it was more than 100 business leaders to understand what is fear for them. How does it affect them? What kind of impact does it have on them, on their teams? How do they handle it? What are the, let's say, the lessons learned that they have, like with the, now looking back at the history, I was, positively surprised to see that people were really very open to talk about it. Of course, for me, it was very important to guarantee confidentiality about like the testimonies of the people I talked to. And I think also that was one of the reasons, like they felt there's something that we need to tackle. There's something that we need to discuss. And honestly, I had like a great insights from them. But coming back to your question of what kind of fears you have, I think that's a quite tough question because it's difficult to give a list. However, I think the like when we're talking about like work environment, of course there's we need to deliver. Basically, we need to deliver. We need to deliver results. Basically, so I think one type of fear, one classical type of fear, is basically the fear of failing. The fear of failing, like not being able to deliver, and and that's actually a fear that kind of like hinders you from basically taking risks. So so it has a direct implication or direct impact on the performance of the organization. I think there's also like the let's say the more related relationship type of fears, like for example, like conflicts or like retaliation, for example, or like rejection. How to get accepted, etc. Those fears are also very important because sometimes they prevent you from speaking up in meetings, sharing ideas, discussing like important issues. So so those fears, like we have all experienced that, and I think the very typical fear as well that we see in the organizations is the fear of change. Basically, when there's a need for change because of performance, new technology, a new market, you name it, there are so many reasons why organizations need to change. And basically, when people feel that maybe it will affect their, roles, responsibilities, and maybe affect the security of their job. So again, not willing to give you like an exhaustive list of fears, but I think those are quite recurrent.
Alei, you mentioned retaliation, and then the thought came to me. So, are organizations, the culture of an organization, can it exacerbate the fears that we have already, the intrinsic fears that we have already as human beings?
Yes, I think so. For example, what happens when you face like an unethical behavior? It could be from one colleague, from your boss. So what do you do about it? Okay. So so it's many organizations will tell you, okay, we have a code of conduct. We actually will fight this. It's very important, etc., etc. But what happens in your brain the minute that happens to you and you're thinking, okay, what should I do about it? Okay, do you want to take the risk and put like in balance all your career, everything you're trying to build, or actually, okay, like you just accept to go with it and hopefully everything will pass.